Hello, I'm Dave Taylor, welcoming you to Sales Talk this morning. This is where we get together and we talk about the sales industry. And not only that, we talk about life skills, we talk about successes, we just have a general conversation. One of the things that I was asked recently was how have things changed since you have been in the sales industry? Looking back over 50 years that I have been in some sort of sales, the trends go over and over and over. To me, some things are like one of the old B grade westerns. If you've ever seen an old B grade western where here's the guy riding the horse and the same cactus keeps going by time after time. That's how things appear after you've been around a long time. what has happened today has happened before, and what has happened before will happen again. Why? Because generally people don't change. The inner part, people can change an attitude, they change a few things, but they all have the same mindset. The mindset that they want to succeed. Not a problem. That's a good mindset. And if they see something that makes money, they want to get involved. Here's what I've seen. Anything that becomes profitable, really profitable, and let me give you an example. Years ago, I started selling a jewelry line. I found a jewelry line and I adopted the jewelry line and brought it into retail stores and in showings. It was really a hot item at the time. A newspaper ad would probably have people lined up at the door waiting to get in. Business was very good. Well, when business is very good, other people see that and they get in and start doing the same thing. They replicate. Then, after a period of time, there's so many people doing the same thing that the sales drop, the demand has been filled to a large extent, and a lot of what's been brought into the market was junk. So, the market goes away after a period of time or becomes where it is not as profitable. So, things march on. When I got into the home improvement business, it was 1978. I began really with nothing. That's the only way I've ever been able to start something, because when I started I didn't have anything. On a shoestring, wasn't broke, but we were eating well, but didn't have a lot of money to put into starting a business, so we started anyway. Took a chance, and it was a very good time. Things were just rolling along, and sales were good. We had a lot of business. Wasn't that much competition in 1978 here in West Texas in the home improvement business. Well, as time went by, of course, other people saw that there was something that was making money, and they wanted to be involved. So more and more people get involved. So there's more and more competition. Good competition is good. A lot of my competitors have been friends, and some of them were even former employees. That's just a fact of the way things work. And that's not bad. But what it does, it creates an atmosphere for those in this time, in any industry, where there is so much increased competition, to become better. To be the person that is more professional, the person that is more confident, the person that has a handle on things, that has shown some longevity, and can look back and show a prospective client successes. If I, for example, want to find a new doctor, a specialist, just say gastroenterology. So, you know, you get to a certain age, well, you start, things just happen. So, what do I want to know? I want to know about this doctor. How good is he? I don't know hardly any other way to put it, but does he know what he's doing? And I have found that there's been so many that did not really know exactly what they were doing. They have recommended some things that, had I taken their advice, I'd be in poor shape today. But you find one through referrals that has had some success and a lot of success. You start building confidence. Well, see, that's what happens when you are in business or in sales or whatever for a period of time. It doesn't have to be a long period of time, but you have established yourself as someone who is confident. You can handle any situation that comes up because you know the industry well. You have seen things happen before, and you'll see things happen again that you'll be able to handle. One of the things that I have seen is there's always those that come into the industry, no matter what it is. They have a business acumen that I want to be the biggest, the best, the baddest. I want to be the dude on the block that knocks everybody else out. They come in, and perhaps they come in with a lot of money, or maybe not a lot of money, but they come in and they start expanding. They go and they go and they go, and you look up one day and they're gone. A flash in the pan. You're going to see that happen if you're in the business world. It happens time and time again. As I said, the interpart, the psyche of humans just never really changes. So, if we take that into 2025 and we look at any career, there's a lot of competition. A lot of competition. That's not bad. The ones who professionalize themselves, the one who learn their industry, the one who is dedicated to those they are serving. Now let me kind of emphasize that. No matter what you're selling, is it good and does it help the lives of those that you're selling it to? Is it efficacious? Are you being a servant to those people and helping them solve a problem? That is something that is going to carry forward. So you're paying forward by helping others. At some point in time, things are going to come back. You know, you hear the saying, what goes around comes around. And whatsoever a person sows, that shall they also reap, as it says in the Bible. So if you want to be in this world of increased competition and you want to be at the top of the game, be the top servant. Give what you've got to the people, your expertise to the people you're trying to serve, and do it to the best of your ability. What happens? By paying it forward, then all of a sudden you become top of mind to the people that you've worked for, and they would recommend you. I want to kind of give you an example. I have many times ordered things on the internet and not been very pleased, not felt like I got really the best of what I wanted to get, or sometimes didn't even get the product that I ordered, or sometimes I will have to admit that I got into a situation that was really kind of a scam. But recently, I made an order with a company out of Montana. I didn't know anything about this company, but I was looking for Wrangler jeans. I found on the internet, their website, that they had an excellent price. The price was less than anything else I had seen, and far less than what was available locally. And there wasn't that much available locally that I really wanted. So I ordered. The order came in a timely manner. It gave me exactly what I had ordered and exactly the size that I had ordered. And then in that order came an invoice that was folded into a thank you card with company stickers and everything was just done correctly. The marketing was excellent. The company was excellent, and I'll give a shout out to North 40 Outfitters out of Montana, and I'll give them that plug because they have done an excellent job. Their reputation is such with me now that if I wanted to order anything else, and they handle a wide variety of products, I would go to their website probably first because I got the good service, because I was very pleased with what they did and the way they handled it was superb. So, as you enter whatever your career is, it may be a professional salesperson and you may be selling a product or service that is very competitive. Right now, I don't know of anything that's really not greatly competitive. Home improvement, there's a roofer under every truck, so to speak. There's just competition out there. But the old saying is the cream rises to the top. But to make yourself cream, you have to put a lot of effort into it. Overnight success is normally achieved after 20 years of hard labor. Things finally start happening. And you've always heard the story about the person who quit just before that the vein of gold was hit. And someone else come in and hit the vein of gold because they backed off. Well, I just didn't do it. You just can't quit. What you have to do is you have to continue to sharpen your skills. You have to continue to improve your service. And then what happens eventually is that your confidence level comes up and you're confident. When you walk in, you meet a client or a prospect or whatever. You may be calling on someone you call on regularly. But you are there and they see that you exude the confidence because you can answer any question that they've got and you are able to solve their problem. See, you find a need and fill it. And you fill it better than anybody else can fill it. And your value just keeps going up. You make a lifetime career out of that. You've got to have a starting place. Or along the way, I wasn't exactly at my starting place when I realized that I really needed a better method as far as sales was concerned. So I studied and studied and studied and went to seminar and seminar and seminar and put together what I am presenting now on CareerSalesInstitute.com, a sales course that I've taught for about 50 years. No, 40, a little over 40 years. I started in 1978, and it wasn't until about 1981 that I really started putting this course together as I started building a bigger business and started training other salespeople. So anyway, there is lessons that apply to anything you're selling. If you are a doctor, if you are an attorney, if you are a plumber, if you are a politician, if you are a minister of the gospel, there are principles. The psychology of sales is the psychology of life. What do people react to? What do you present to those people that gets their attention? How will it help them? Well, I can tell you how Career Sales Institute Sales Course will help you is because it will go through every step of the selling process, from the first meeting to selling the company to the presentation, which is so important, and how to make that presentation and how people receive that information. That is a big, big part of a sales presentation. You have to know. And then when you get into a closing situation, you don't want to go in with a bunch of objections, because objections are questions that have not been answered previously. But they have to be answered in a specific way, in a specific order, because that's the way people get their information. Vitally important. And then the close is a logical conclusion. There's always going to be some buying reluctance. But how do you handle that? I see so many sales courses that say, I'm going to teach you how to handle this objection, or handle this objection, or handle this objection. Many times it's not an objection, it is the fact that it is sales reluctance. Do I really want to do this? Is this the right time to do this? And everybody seemingly has to make a point in time where I'm going to put this off. I'm going to put this off. If you are the salesperson, you want it to happen now. It's just logical what you do at that point. I teach that. And then there is a point of exit where you exit the sale. I don't care if you're leaving a doctor's office after you have sold them on a drug. I don't care if you are leaving a plumbing shop after you have sold them product. Whatever it is, there is a way that you do that exit that cements in their mind what you have just done. Just part of the process. Then you have to have some experience, and it takes time, and it takes effort. What I always say is that, and this happened to me a lot of times, go to a seminar and learn something new, a new concept, a new idea, get home and just can't wait to put it in practice. And then after a couple of weeks, I find myself back in the same old rut I was in before I went to that seminar. So after you get the education as far as the sales course is concerned, then there is the Sales Talk community. Now this Sales Talk, this is where you and I just talk. I want to give you some ideas and some things that will help you in your career. In the Sales Talk community, it's a place where we mentor one-on-one, and we can do it through Zoom calls. We do it regularly on the internet, and then we can even do it even more personal than that. But what happens is that instead of you falling by the wayside in the ideas, you have a community that helps you develop. A habit takes 21 days to really get formed in your mind. It's just like anything else that you learn. You learn step by step by step. I am taking a course in Spanish, and it is it's one that I bought, but it starts with the very basics, the very basic words and very basic phrases, and then it builds up into more complex words, more complex phrases, until finally you get where you understand the speaker as they speak in the entire conversation. So that's exactly what you do when you start in the Sales Talk community. You start by building the building blocks until you go into any situation and it becomes a part of your psyche. You don't even have to think about it. It's just like getting in a car and starting to drive. You don't even have to think about whether you're putting your seatbelt on most of the time, because it just becomes a habit. You don't have to think about putting in where is reverse, because you've driven it so many times. It all comes together And that's exactly what it does when you really get professionalized. Everything comes together so that you are the cream of the crop. You rise to the top. So competition is no longer a factor in your success. So I would encourage you, never quit, never give up, continue to learn, continue to educate yourself. And once you get educated in your profession, don't stop learning. Keep your mind working. For example, I have a dictionary app on my phone, and on that is a word of the day. I love words, so I look at the word of the day and build a vocabulary. It just keeps my mind active and keeps me sharp or sharper. So I'm going to encourage you to go to careersalesinstitute.com. Give us some serious consideration. And then when you do, I want you in the Sales Talk community because I want to be your mentor and help you become the very best that you can be. So I look back on 50 years. Yes, things have changed a lot. Things are a lot different. But in the same vein, much remains the same because human beings are not going to change mentally. That's Sales Talk for today. I'll catch you on the next one. And until we meet again, go out and make it better.